Hi everyone, my name is HudatQueen94. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a huge New Orleans Saints fan, as well as being a huge fan of the NFL. And Week 7 has come and gone, if you can believe it or not. There was pretty good games on Sunday. I think there were. I was super dead tired that Sunday. I had to wake up at 3:50 in the morning to catch a flight that left at 6:15. So I somehow made it back to my hometown right as, actually before the game started here, but I'm telling you, I was so tired that I know I was watching football. I know that I watched the Chiefs game, but I just don't think that, I think I was so tired that I don't think my brain absorbed exactly what I was watching. So I was just that tired, but, I think that was a good game. I'm not exactly sure. We did have an even better game on Monday when the Bears completely dominated the Patriots, which who doesn't love that? But man, I should have bet on it because I really did see that coming. I thought, I think that the Bears could probably win this game by more than 10 points. And I was in a betting mood and I should have bet on it. Unfortunately, I didn't take the bet. But either way, we've got some games to talk about, so without further ado, let's go ahead and let's dive into it. Let's talk Saints at Cardinals. So, in the first quarter, the Saints get the ball to start, and Dalton throws a bomb to Shaheed for 53 yards, making it a 7-0 game with 12:53. Blankenship kicks a 50-yarder to make it a 3-7 game. On 3rd and 8, Dalton throws an interception in the end zone by Hamilton on a pass to Callaway for the touchback. With 2:06 left in the first, a big run by Benjamin puts the Cardinals in the red zone. Saints lead the Cardinals 7-3 in the first. The Cardinals capitalized on the turnover in the second quarter by kicking a 28-yard field goal, making it a 7-6 game. With 13:17 left, Dalton then throws to Hill, who scores a touchdown, making it a 14-6 game. On 4th and 1, Kyler Murray takes it to make it 1st and goal, and a couple plays later, Deontay Ingram makes a touchdown with the Cardinals, and they go for 2 to tie the game at 14-14. With 2:28 left in the half, Andy Dalton throws a pass to Callaway, which is a bobbled pass picked and taken for the score by Marco Wilson with 1:50, making it a 20-14 game. Andy Dalton would throw another pick, or a pick six this time, to Simmons, making it a 26-14 game. Cardinals would go for 2 to make it a two-score game. Cardinals would lead the Saints 28-14 going into the half. Third quarter, Lutz would kick a 25-yarder for the Saints to make it a 17-28 game with 9:46. Murray would throw a 1-yard touchdown pass to Dortch with 29 seconds left, making it a 35-17 game. Fourth quarter, Dalton throws a 17-yard touchdown to Johnson with 11:14 to make it a 24-34 game. Saints allow a big run by Benjamin, giving the Cardinals 1st and goal. Benjamin would go on to score the touchdown on the next play to make it a 42-24 game with 5:47 left. On 4th and 3, Dalton throws to Callaway, who picks up the first. Dalton then throws to Johnson again for the score, making it a 31-42 game. Lutz attempts a 45-yarder to make it a 34-42 game. The Cards would get the onside kick. Cardinals beat the Saints 42-34. As a lot to process. Where do I begin this? Where do I begin analyzing this? Other than having to completely eat crow. Since I didn't watch this game consistently, this is just based off highlights. Listen, I talked a big game, and I think that's mostly because I didn't really bother doing my research on this game, just because I really did feel that the Saints were going to win this game, and clearly I was very wrong about that. But in my defense, I was focused more on my little mini vacation than I was actually focused on this game. Which, speaking of which, the Saints even know how to ruin my little mini vacation. So, thanks a lot, New Orleans. which is funny because I was so excited to watch this game at this bar downtown of the city that I was going to, which I heard was like a really great restaurant, so I was surprised that I was able to get in, that it wasn't that packed. And so I watched the first half of this game, give or take. But the Saints lost this game, I'd say, in the second quarter, in my honest opinion, with those back-to-back interceptions. And so normally when I go to watch a Saints game, I normally stay through and through, but I was like, listen, this game is getting really ridiculous. I do not want to have to stay here, keep ordering drinks, spending my money, when there's life outside this restaurant. So at halftime, I did something I rarely do. I paid and I got up and I left. That my phone was dying, so I had to go back to my hotel room anyway. And so I missed most of the third quarter, which is actually funny, because as I was walking back to my hotel room, which wasn't too far, I passed several bars that were giving this game. So I saw when the Cardinals scored the touchdown on one of the big screens, and then thus began my walk of shame back to my hotel room. So funny story right there. But either way, I was able to finish the fourth quarter in my hotel room, and oddly enough, football ends an hour earlier, so the game was over at like 8:30 at night. So I went out and I did some things that I needed to do, and so I walked around with my Saints shirt after the Saints had just lost, because I'm totally OG like that. But I'm just messing. But yeah, man, Saints really know how to ruin my time. Well, not really, because it still was a heck of a vacation, but still, either way, I can't really wrap my head around this loss, if I'm being completely honest with you. Listen, Andy was bad, but in the weirdest way, Andy was good. It's so weird, because look at this, 361 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That, I mean, who does that sound like? That's like Jameis Winston-like numbers. And I know I said that Andy Dalton was conservative, but clearly he threw this bomb to Shaheed. So he's got arm strength. He's got the arm. We had yet to see that, but, Andy can play pretty well, and then he can also play pretty bad. So the interceptions, are kind of what played a major role, in my honest opinion, especially in the end zone. That's, you're giving up points right there. Saints just don't know how to win these games that they're favored to win. And when I say that, we'll talk about the stats right now, because the stats completely in the Saints' favor. I mean, either way, we didn't run the ball well. I think I mentioned that in my last video, that it was going to be a little tough to run the ball against the Cardinals. Olave had 106 yards, so the receiving game was a lot better. We got the tight ends involved. We didn't see much of Taysom in the second half. But either way, because with the exception of the non-existent run game, we did okay offensively, with the exception of the interceptions, mind you. So, yeah, defensively, it probably is the same problems that we're having every single week. Benjamin had 92 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. And I know that I mentioned they didn't have much of a run game, which every other running back that they have didn't do as great as this Benjamin did. So, and then I said Hopkins. Well, I said Hopkins could be rusty. At least I said I hoped he'd be rusty. I don't know if I said he was going to be rusty. Because, I mean, clearly 103 yards is not rusty. So, I feel like every time I have an idea of what the Saints can do better, they do the opposite. And they're making me look like a ginormous a-hole, so I'm not happy about that. I mean, it's not even funny, I can't figure this team out. I don't get it, As I mentioned, the stats, we had more yards, passing yards, first downs, total plays. But it's just, for me, I think it was the turnovers and the defense not doing what they were supposed to do and not capitalizing on anything. First and foremost, they had no interceptions. I think they sacked Murray 3 times, but I'm not entirely sure. you can't blame it on not having receivers for us getting on the offense. Because even though we don't have Michael Thomas and, Jarvis Landry, we still have this Shaheed guy who's making plays. We have Callaway, Ingram and Kamara if we need them. Taysom, who can do pretty much everything. So, what is it? I mean, defensively, again, yeah, we're struggling. We're allowing these running backs to get all these yards, I should say. Matthew isn't doing anything. May isn't doing anything. All these guys that we hyped up in the offseason. Yes, I get it. No Lattimore. So still, you need to step up. You need to have a big game. And they didn't do any of that. So I'm still going to have to say that's the defense. And again, the picks didn't help. So Andy needs to be better with that. Either way, I don't want to waste too much time on this one. So shout out to the Cardinals. My bad for saying you weren't going to win this game. I am majorly eating crow right now. Best of luck to you moving forward, and even better luck to your NBA team. Seriously. So close. Just so close, I swear. Yeah, but either way. Let's talk Raiders. Honestly, I am so glad that this game is, in New Orleans and not in Las Vegas, because let me tell you, that's just overload right there. But, glad that this game is back home, because home is where the heart is. So, the Raiders are 1.5 favorites. I think that that's ridiculous, but hey, here we go again. They have the same record as us. They had a crazy loss against the Cardinals. We can relate. Almost beat the Chiefs in that, I think it was a Monday night game. Ironically, I think I've seen half of their games this year. So, I should have some knowledge on them. So how can we win this game at home? Well, Andy Dalton is going to start, from what I understand, so it does start with him. You can't throw 3 interceptions and think that we have a chance. So, it starts with him. I think if we get the run game going early, which I know they're pretty tough to run against. They haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher as of yet. But again, I think that Taysom Hill is the weapon that we're not using. I mean, we're not utilizing him to his abilities. And he can do pretty much everything. So the fact that we're not using Taysom as much is, I think, what we're missing out on. I'd like to see more of Taysom Hill in this game, honestly. Get Olave involved. That's not going to be a problem. Just get all the receivers involved. I mean, they know how to do their jobs. Defensively, there is one person that I'm very concerned about, and that's Josh Jacobs. Listen, the first 3 games, were not his best, but the last 3 games, I was looking, he has played phenomenal. So, Josh Jacobs is kind of a concern for me. If we can hold him under 100 yards rushing, then we have a chance. I think that's going to be tough to do, but I think it can be done, because we're better at stopping the run, so we'll see. Make him a non-factor, make everybody else a non-factor, because I know that they got Devontae Adams. They got Renfro. Waller, if he plays, is a great tight end, and great story, much respect, but him I'm not overly concerned about. I know that we're pretty good at kind of locking up the tight ends, but and I don't know his situation. I don't know if he's gonna play, if he's gonna be limited, but they got great players. Carr has had over or close to 200 yards I think all season. So yeah, I don't know how many times I need to say this, but pick him off. Seriously. Pick him off and sack him. And I think that would really benefit us, in my honest opinion. Do what you gotta do to make these guys non-factors. I feel like we could get an interception in this game. I feel a pick coming on. I don't know about you guys, but I think we can get a pick. Listen, if the Saints settle down and do what they have to do, and play cleanly and smartly, then yes, this should be a very easy, winnable game for us at home. We keep making these mistakes, and we're not going to do anything. we're not going to be successful. But that's just my take on this. Listen, the NFC South is terrible. I mean, this reminds me of like the years back in 2014 when everybody was struggling to try to make the playoffs, and I think Carolina got in with a 7-8-1 record, and we were 7-9. So, you know, oddly, we have a chance because I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Tampa Bay is not very good. I saw it the first game that they played. Tampa, not very good. Carolina is winning games without McCaffrey, and the Falcons are a big question mark. But we can't focus on them. We need to focus on ourselves, because this shockingly is a very winnable division, and we can win this division. But we have to take care of our own stuff first, because if we don't do that, what's the point, you know? But either way, I think that's pretty much all I have to say for now. Once again, my name is HudatQueen94. I'm also on Twitter under the same name. I don't tweet as often, but you can follow me there. I could always use more followers there. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If not, that's okay. If you'd like to subscribe, I'd much appreciate it, but if not, that's okay too. And so yeah, go Saints, baby. Hudat. Okay, bye-bye.